Hare Krishna. What we see depends on where we are. Suppose a person is on the North Pole and then that person tries to look for the equator. From the North Pole, the equator will appear to be towards the south. Another person say is in the South Pole. And from there that person wants to look at the equator. And the equator from there will appear to be in the northern side. So is the equator towards the north or towards the south? Well, that depends on where the observer is. So what we see depends on where we are. This relativity of perception based on this variability of perception based on the location of the perceiver, this is a fact of material existence. And when we talk about the location of the perceiver, we are not just talking about physical location, we are talking primarily about psychological disposition. Different people have different natures. Their psychological natures especially are different, and accordingly they perceive things differently. So Krishna talks about this in the Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter, especially in the 14th chapter, when he introduces the three modes. And then he continues the discussion in the 15th, 16th, 17th chapter. In the 18th chapter he says that even our knowledge is shaped by the three modes. So Jnanam, in the 18th chapter he says Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedataha prochyate guna samkhyane yathava shrunutannyapi. So he says that jnana, knowledge, karma is a work, and karta is the worker. Tridhaiva guna bhedataha, all these three are divided into the modes. And prochyate guna samkhyane, this is what according to Sankhya in the system of analysis into three modes. Yathava shrunutannyapi, please hear what I want to speak now. So here what Krishna is stating is that knowledge itself is in the three modes. So if knowledge is in three modes, and he describes in 18.20, 21, 22 how knowledge is in three modes, and after that he describes the karma and karta in three modes. So the point is that people who are in the lower mode of ignorance and people who are in the mode of goodness, they are not going to see the same thing. And suppose we find that a person, some other people have some different psychological nature and they just don't get what we are saying. We say one thing and that person says another thing, and we can go on quarreling and fighting ad infinitum. So in some situations when we understand that this person's nature is different and they're not going to understand, they're not going to get it, rather than getting upset with that person, getting wild with that person, we need to understand that yes, this person's nature is different and we need to agree to disagree. That okay, you think of it that way. Now this does not necessarily mean that everything that everyone believes is right. If a person is from outside the earth observing, that person can reconcile how both people are right in their own ways. Say how the person who from the South Pole and North Pole, both of them are also right. So like that, now when we are talking about rightness and wrongness, the important point to recognize is that different people based on their different psychological natures will perceive things differently. And rather than insisting that our way is the right way, we can focus on trying to get the transcendental perspective, that the perspective from scripture, and try to make sense of our perspective and others' perspective through scripture. And then we will be able to come to a harmonious understanding. Now, of course, the other person sometimes may not want to be harmonized, and that is up to their free will. But at least we don't have to live in a state of perpetual mental agitation if we understand the relativity of the position of perception and the consequent perception. This principle we understand that based on the psychological nature, different people will perceive things differently, and therefore we should not get too caught up in differences, but focus on trying to cultivate a transcendental perspective and encouraging others to also strive towards cultivating a transcendental perspective. That way we can minimize the conflicts in our own life and we can progress towards a perception where conflicts will be reconciled and resolved. Thank you. Hare Krishna.